Hey guys, welcome to the show. I hope you're having a great day. I'm checking my mic settings because I think that there's a problem with my audio, but I'm gonna figure it out because I learned that last week. Let's see here. Yep, I knew. And we'll keep that. All right. So hello everybody. I hope you're having a good day. Right now I'm just gonna do a freestyle about everything that went on with my day. So here we go. Now today I had a great time. If I could really try, I sold my car for the first time. I cried. It was crazy because I had to junk it out because it no longer worked, and they still call me Scout. But I had it together, man. I still couldn't be. Then I had to get a tune-up for my new car. But gee, it's not really new. It's kind of old. But I know that I'm so bold when I gotta say I throw like all the new quarterbacks on different teams, like Joseph Wilson on the Steelers, and I scream, not really sure if I ever gotta ever see everything they ever did, but everything is anything. Hey, what am I supposed to say today? And then I went to a class on how to make money, teaching kids how to sing and other dances, only if I can't understand that glances. My good friend Lavender Blues was there, and she talked about it. Questions I was feeling unaware, like I'm right there. Only if I couldn't be, I'm out of control, but I'm waiting back for me. And hey, what am I doing? I can't say them words that I thought that I'm supposed to say. But hey, then I hung out with my kids for a little bit as I'm waiting for the things, and I screamed at my little son. He started taking my phone, started playing a crazy game. I was like, no, and then I had to go. Then my daughter, she got some new dresses and she was looking crazy. Nah, she was looking pretty and she walked around. Hey, she said I had hot pink shorts on and way. Her, not me, because that'd be weird if I did. But anyway, see you in a second, kids.
Are you looking for a different kind of podcast? How about informative and clean? It will make you laugh. Scout and Trey, yeah, that's what we do. We got a little funny thing, keeping it true. Hey, we take your topics and all of your ideas and bring in a guest and we answer them there. Then we make a freestyle rap and do it for you. Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, that's what we do. Yep, flows to you, flows to you. This is what we do now. This is what we do. Say it flows to you, flows to you. This is what we do now. This is what we do. Say it flows to you, flows to you. This is what we do now. This is what we do. Say it flows to you, flows to you.
Hello. Hi, everybody. I hope you're having a great day. And we have a really good guest. Hello, Rodney. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, brother. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
I'm good. I'm good. And he wrote a book, which we're going to talk about. He's writing books. Sorry, but he wrote one book, and now he's doing a series of books, which is really awesome. We're going to talk about that as we go today. And luckily for me, I've had the privilege of knowing Rodney for a few years, so that's always nice when you actually know the guest. So that's always cool, and it's an excuse to see him and say hi, Rodney. And so that is cool. Let's start with the first question of the day
Yes, sir.
is, and this should be fun, is what music do you like? What did you grow up listening to? What do you listen to now? What's your vibe?
Thank you for that question, brother. Thank you for that question. That question needs to be answered in this podcast. So I like no. Let me retract that statement. I appreciate and I love early hip hop from '83 to generally from '89. That's my era. So that's what I love. I love early hip hop pioneers and uh, what I listen to now, early hip hop, 88. I'm sorry, uh, 83 to 89. And I listen to a lot of, I listen to a lot of worship music, man. Sometimes, depending on the day, if the day is crazy, my act of worship comes through music. So I listen to a lot of gospel music. So
Mhm.
also, I go to CBC, as you mentioned before when we did the mic check. I
Yeah.
go to CBC and our pastor own. No, he doesn't own. I'm sorry. I'm about to get in trouble. He is the host of a hip hop show where he uh, preaches the word, and he also uses songs to glorify God in the pod in the show. So a little bit of that. I guess it just depends on my mood. A lot of music I really can't get into nowadays, but
Sure.
that's it. There you go.
I am, you already know this. And everybody else knows, I'm a hip hop guy through and through. But when I grew up, I decided one day I was just not going to listen to curse words anymore, and so I only listened to Christian
Yeah.
hip hop. But the funny part is that I didn't want to listen to what was trending, so I had listened to underground Christian hip hop, which were guys that were focused on sounding like the '80s guys or the early
Yeah.
'90s guys, where they were lyricists, and so I always listened to that stuff, and hence the reason I got into Christian rapping and doing those kind of things. But it's so interesting how music can control your mood. Especially even if
Yeah.
you listen to like the newer stuff, especially if it's not Christian or um, if it's not positive, you can
Hmm.
definitely you see it seeping in the negative thoughts or the negative stuff in your mind. But there are some songs that are just catchy. They
Yeah.
might be
Yeah.
negative, but man, they're
True.
good.
Yeah.
But it's the
True.
same idea.
And
Like in the '80s, was like that too.
yeah,
There
it
were still
was. It was.
negative songs because people were talking about their lives, and so it's so interesting how it goes.
Yeah, it's true.
What?
And let me just say this: the funny thing you mentioned, being a hip hop guy. I don't know how I still got that CD, man. That the CD that you gave me, and I put it in my in the sound system, and it sounds still. I mean, today it still sounds real. Sonically, that was a really good album. That's the only
My
album I've ever heard from you. Yeah,
my
yes, sir.
album,
That's yeah,
MC again. Yeah, no, I appreciate
yeah.
that. We had some really great
Sonically is
producers.
really it sounds really good.
Well, I had a really good producer at the time
Yeah.
who really focused on that stuff, and Sizer was very good at what he did.
Hmm.
And so it's so cool to yeah, no, it's crazy to listen to something and go, oh, that still sounds good today,
Yep.
which is crazy. And so I appreciate that. Thank you so much for telling me that.
Yes, sir.
It's so weird to like think about something you did so many years ago, and
Yeah, I get
it's like wow, and
you. Yeah.
I haven't told you this, but most people know on the show, but I am working on a kids album, and
Oh, nice.
so so that's interesting, trying to do those kind of things. But we do have a new Concept 7 album coming out at some point this year, so that's kind of insane because I've been in that group for almost 20 years, and so the idea that we've been releasing albums since then is always crazy to me. But anyways, what
Yeah.
is it the thing that makes you appreciate and love early hip hop? What is
You
it?
know,
What is it what's that thing?
that's a good question. I think well, kind of ties into with the book, so I don't want to go into it too heavy.
Okay.
But I'll give you a little bit. Growing up in St. Louis during the early '80s, at the infancy of the crack cocaine epidemic,
Sure.
and growing up in Castle Point, you I could go outside. I could go outside. I knew the on my block. I don't know about anybody else's block, but on my block, excuse me, I knew the drug dealers. I went to school with all of them. I won't say that we didn't like each other. We just didn't get along. So
Sure.
if I came outside, I had to turn left, walk down the street. It had a little pathway. Now I have to cross over the path, go to the right, and then go down the street, and then go, enter into a different neighborhood because I didn't want to pass by him because I knew if I passed by him, something was going to pop off, and a lot of times it did. So the first couple of times I got into it, I believe it was my sister's boyfriend. We got into a fight, and I'm going somewhere just hanging with me.
No, I'm
We got into a
I
fight.
I'm
Yeah,
trying to get other things set up, so I apologize
yeah, yeah.
if
You good?
so I'm not listening.
No, you good. And my mama was with me. So when my mama got into the fight, I thought, man, I felt bad that my mom had to. Not that she
Sure.
had to, not that she was protective, but I don't even know how she even got there. But she was in the middle of that fight, and I told myself I wasn't gonna let that happen again. So that's the reason that I just totally avoided these kids and went the opposite way. So because of that, because I didn't like going outside, uh,
Mm.
I was in the house listening to Cool G rap, and I was listening to
Well,
sorry about that.
you're fine.
I was in the house listening to Cool G rap and Eric B and Rakim and Kane
Yep.
and Stetsasonic. So at that time, of course, it was a different era because it was in the '80s. But
Sure.
I think what made it amazing is they cared about the quality of what they put out. And remember, it wasn't all big business then. It was business, but not like it is that it would A&R and hey,
Sure.
for your contract you can only put out this many records, so you just rush albums out. They didn't do that. They actually cared about the craft. So to me, that's what makes me love early hip hop as much as I do. I just have a
Oh.
man. I'm a student. I study it. I still study it to this day, as you do, because I know you do as well.
So it's interesting because it's like no, I thank you for the intro when it comes to the book
Hmm.
because it's like you're not trying to sell it. What it is it's your life, and so it's like your
Yeah.
life. And the cool part is, and it said I know, so I already knew the answer to this question, because
Yeah.
I know that you're a big hip hop head, and so it's like the
Yeah.
idea of having that escape. You know what I'm saying? Like mine was different, right? Like
Absolutely.
I didn't have the craziness, but my family was crazy and there was a lot of drama there. And so I retreated to music.
Hmm.
Um I retreated to go and not bad drama. I just didn't want to deal with people. I had
Yeah.
four brothers and sisters. Just I was doing sports. And so I just got focused on the music, which, looking back at it now, it's like, oh, I should have really spent more time with my family and been a better brother and all that stuff. But at that time, I thought this was the only real retreat I could have. And so that's
Hmm.
kind of the reason why I fell in love with the beats and the boom bap and all that stuff. Like
Yeah.
the idea of somebody just relaying their story is such an amazing thing to me. And so yeah, I love music. I love that you love hip hop, and that's a cool. Thank you for answering that question. Now the
Yes,
next
sir.
part, we're actually going to start making our own song. Now we're
Okay.
going to have a pretty serious conversation talking about your book. So let's just make a silly song so we can kind of split between the two. Now we can make it a serious silly song. I don't really care, but in general, that's the plan. And so what we're going to talk about now is the idea. So what is our song going to be about? What's the big idea? What's our silly song going to be about? It can be about anything.
Uh,
It could be about hip hop. It could be about sock monkeys.
you know what? Exactly. Let's make the song about protecting hip hop.
Oh, nice, nice.
Protecting, yeah, protecting the soul, the essence of hip hop.
Okay, okay.
How about that?
Uh, I'm not sure how I'm gonna make this funny, but we'll see what I can do. Or make it serious. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So all right, we're gonna do a song about protecting the soul of hip hop. I love that. Now
Yeah.
you do have your book series, and you know, uh, we talk about we talk about the big idea. What led you? You're not a writer. Like you're not a trained
No.
writer. You're just a dude. That's it. You're just a good friend, an awesome dude. What leads a guy like you into writing a whole book series? How does that even happen? How does that become your big idea?
Well, let me. It's kind of a long story. I give you a short version because
Sure.
this is a short show.
We're only here for an hour, so we can do the extended version later if you need to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no. So listen, uh, COVID happened, and it was kind of like I was telling you in the sound check. It was kind of a dark time for us with all the health issues that my daughter had. I'm a hospital security personnel guy, so I had to go to work. I'm a first responder, so to me, it wasn't that bad. My wife took it kind of hard, so we ended up looking for a church. And my friend Carmen, she said, "Hey, you really ought to check out this young preacher. I like him." I said, "Nah, I'm okay." That's why I said, "Nah, I'm all right." But we actually did end up at CBC
Hmm.
after a while. Now, the funny thing is, it was after COVID. We were kind of getting out into public, and now we're at church. So we had a meeting. The whole church had a meeting where you could come and just talk to leadership face to face, ask questions, see what the church is about. Now, before that, uh, this guy named John, this brother named John, dear brother, man. If you put the Undertaker and him next to him, you can't tell the difference. He looks like the Undertaker. He literally looks like the
Nice.
Undertaker.
Nice. Does he have like
And
the
he was
scary
talking,
dark hat and the whole
nah, man,
Undertaker
nah, man. This
chicken?
dude's got the this dude's got the biggest heart, bro. And he kept telling. He said, "Hey, have you been in leadership before?" And I told him, "Yeah, here and there." He said, we could use you, but at the time, now listen to what I'm saying. At the time, there was no way that was going to happen. Not with Mari's stuff, my wife's stuff.
Yeah.
I said, no, we can't. And he goes, okay, well, I'll put you on the radar. So we ended up as a meeting, and then afterwards, you could meet the staff. Well, we ended up with John. So I would never forget this. We sat across from him, and he said, okay, so where we at? And I just told him, brother, we can't do anything right now with leadership. So he said, hey, listen, where we at? And my wife, as nice as she could, my wife,
She's awesome.
she said, well, we just got to this church. We kind of want to see what the church is about and just kind of take it easy and kind of relax a little bit and just kind of see where we're going with the church. So I'll never forget this. John looked at me and my wife and just looked at her and he's like, yeah, we're not really interested in you being comfortable. Okay. He said, we're not interested in you being comfortable. We're just looking for people that want to, step out and lead.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, and I like you. It wasn't that he was rude. He was just being honest. And you know
Sure.
me, I'm a really honest guy. So that now here's the thing. That's the first time that I was kind of being called to leadership. The second time, we were in service with my wife, and our lead pastor was preaching a message on gifts of the Holy Spirit. We all have them. They're God given. Yours not like mine. Yours not like Jason's. So. And then he said this. He said, "What are you doing to utilize?" Oh man, sorry
You're
about that.
fine.
I keep plugging it. He said,
We
"What are
need to
you
like
doing
put
to
something
utilize?"
over there so it like goes to a random picture of some random thing every time you knock it over.
Hopefully, it will happen again, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh, and he said, he said, "What are you doing to utilize your gifts to help other people?"
Mm.
Now, as soon as that happened, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a pretty honest guy. I can't tell you what I was feeling, but I heard the Holy Spirit say, "Okay, you need to write that book." And to me, that made no sense because I don't have any experience. I don't have any experience with editing, publishing. I didn't know what I didn't know what's going on. And you talk to God. What do you? That makes no sense. So then the next day, I told my wife. I said, "Hey, honey, I think I need to write a book." And she said, "What is it about?" And I said,
Oh.
I don't know, but I really need to write this book." And then she said, "Okay, we'll pray about it." And I said, "Okay." And then I went to a couple of people because the Bible tells you how to seek advice from trusted acquaintances, so that you know. So I went to my boss. He's actually my boss, Jose. He's a no nonsense type of guy. And I was at work and I said, "Hey, listen, man, can I talk to you?" He said, "What's up?" I said, I think I need to write a book." And he said, "Really? What's it about?" And I had already thought about it. I said, "It's about depression, suicidal thoughts. I need to write this book. What do you think about that?" And he looked at me and said, "Well, what are you waiting for?"
Nice.
Ah, all right. So then I went I went to one more person. I said, "Hey, Rashad," my man is Rashad. I said, "Hey, I think I need to write a book. What do you think about that?" And he said, "If that's what you want to do, go ahead." And I said, "Okay." So I'm getting all this confirmation. And
Mm-hmm.
then the last thing that happened was I said, "Well, let me Google, let me search people because I can't be the only person that's going through these type of things that has gone. I'm good now.
Sure.
I'm safe." But
Yeah.
I Googled how many people are going through this stuff, and this
Oh
story came
man.
up.
Yeah.
Now, the story was of a mother who had a daughter, and the daughter was bullied, like a lot of us kids are. Well, the young lady ended up taking her own life, unfortunately. So the mother's in a stage of grief, but the kids that bullied her, you know how they real tech savvy, they got together, sent their mother email. Mother opened the email, and there was two pictures. On the first picture, it was a picture of a child's room and a child's bed. And above the caption, it said, "Next time, mom, don't tuck your daughter in this," with the arrow pointing at the kid's bed. And on the other side of the picture, it said, "Next time, tuck her in this." And on the second picture was a picture of a grave site, a dugout grave site. And I I wasn't even surprised because kids can be mean, and I think social media can you know play a part in that. But that's when I thought, okay, I need to go ahead and be serious about writing this book. So then I started doing some research. Everything was up here for the last 30 years. It was easy to write. The only problem I had was writing because I work and I'm a daddy and husband. So I had to get all of that out. And you know what? It turned out better than expected. I honestly didn't expect it to do as well as it did. And
Sure.
I learned a lot. I'm still learning a lot about publishing and having a small publishing company, but that's where the idea started from a simple lesson about what are you going to do to
Use
use
your
your gifts to
talents.
help other people.
Well, I said I've known you as just like just a fun-loving, awesome guy. You're doing comedy for a while. You
Yeah.
did all kinds of things. So it's interesting. I mean, it doesn't shock me because you writing the book from personal thing. I mean, again, you've been, as you said, you are somebody that speaks from their heart always. And so it's like if you, especially going through a pandemic where everybody was realizing that they had some mental stuff going on,
Hmm.
when you don't have anywhere to go or anybody to hang out with, it really does make you realize what crutches you were using. And I
Correct.
think in that situation, people were dealing with that way more than they really could have. And that's why you'll see like so many marriages were done after that because they were like, "Oh, we're not used
Yep.
to hanging out with each other." Um, but it's
Yep.
interesting that you went, "Okay, well, this is the thing that I want to do, and I'm going to take this lesson that I learned about using my talents to help people." And I think that's amazing. I think it's an amazing thing to put yourself in that place, um, and share your heart, because that's not easy. Sharing your story, your
Oh no.
life, and
Oh
then
no. That definitely wasn't easy.
sharing that you're weak. Like you're not.
Yeah.
This isn't coming from a place of power, right? It's coming from a
Yeah.
place of weakness to show how this
Yep.
destroyed you, how it hurt you. And so yeah, no, that's cool. I appreciate that. Um, that's where you went with it, and it's pretty cool to see you doing your thing. It's somebody that's always a fan of Rodney Caldwell. It's always cool to see you moving your life forward. And it's like you're very dedicated to the things you do, and so it's like when you were a teacher, you were 100% dedicated to being a teacher. And
Oh yeah, I forgot about. I remember that. I remember now. Yeah, yeah, it just popped in my head. Yeah.
like
Yeah. Thanks,
actually,
man. Go
yeah.
ahead. I'm
Oh
sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
you're good. Oh no, I just started doing I just went to a class about doing kids teach song teaching. And I was just thinking about
Hmm.
like one of the first times I ever did something like that was at one of your classes.
Oh, bro, I forgot about that, man. Those kids ask about you all the time when you left. And it was funny because they'd be coming up to me, Mr. Rodney, is he gonna do another album? I was like, I don't know. I'll ask him and let you. That was funny. That's hilarious. Yeah, I forgot about that, man. Yeah, I know that you're really gifted with kids also. The truth is, no, it really is not easy. You know, the Bible talks a lot about bragging in your boasting in your weaknesses, and that's a
Mhm.
lot of it. And the thing that I didn't expect it, but a lot of trauma came out. A lot of
Sure.
undealt with trauma came out. So that was the hard part of it, but also it actually made me heal a lot faster than not dealing with it. Because if I had not tried to be obedient, there's no way I was bringing up that stuff. It just wasn't gonna happen. And as a matter of fact, I mentioned my old neighborhood, Castle Point. I was I was telling myself they don't want to hear that. You don't even live out there. You moved away. So why are you writing a book? I had all these bad thoughts, man, and it almost made me stop writing because for a while I stopped for a minute, and I thought, I'm not gonna listen to negativity in my head. So it was tough, but I got through it.
What this is a silly question, but it's serious too. Like how did you feel when the book started actually working and people started reading it? And then did you ever go back to that to the all the voices in your head and go, "Shove it! I told you! Look, you wanted me to give up on this, and now people actually read this thing and like say it'll help their
Yeah,
lives."
that's funny because I don't know, man. I don't know what I don't know what I was thinking because I'm still an amateur, so I don't know what I was thinking. The only thing I can tell you is my wife actually edited in high school, so she's very smart.
She's
The book
very
came out.
smart. One of the
Yeah,
smartest
the
people
book
I ever
came
know.
out like crazy smart.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
book came
no.
out. She said, "Hey, what? Like for real? Like, hey, why we have this book? Let me see if we got any mistakes." No, it actually was the phone because we didn't have the book. So she's going through the phone and she found some mistakes. She said they need to fix this. I said, okay, well, hey, publisher, I need to have y'all fix it. Pull it and fix it because I can't have, you know, it's okay. We'll get on. So they pulled it. Now, this is how much I can show you. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what a BSR was. I didn't know what a book rank was. I didn't know what royalties. I mean, I knew what royalties was. Of course I know
From
that
hip hop. Yeah.
from hip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I of course I knew what royalties
Yeah,
was,
yeah, of
but
course.
it's different when I have them. So, but I just didn't know. So at the time, listen to this. At the time that they pulled the book from Amazon, man, the book was selling a lot. I mean a lot of copies. It was just like, but I didn't know. I didn't understand. So when they pulled it, it takes some time for them to go through the whole book, edit, put it back on Amazon. It takes 2 days for it to go live, so that people can purchase it again. Well, in between that time that they pulled it, it went to number one on Amazon. Because they pulled it, I didn't get the bestseller rank because it wasn't showing. So I said, it was funny how it happened. So a good friend of mine, Mr. Iron Gaddy, bought the book, and I told him, I said, hey man, I know you bought it, but you may want to hold on and return that because there's some edits in it. There's some mistakes in it. He said, no, I'll take it with the, he said, he's so supportive. I'll take it with the edits. So it's funny how that happened. But yeah.
Well, it is said as being a creator, you want to try to be perfectionist, but the truth is that once you get it in the ether, like people are gonna show love either way. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it's like, as I said, the truth is if you weren't naive to that, you would have never released the book. If you were
No.
so concerned about what everybody thought, you would have never released it in the first place. I always think about that with like my first albums. Like I
Hmm.
didn't know that there was no market for what I wanted to do. I didn't know that there was no chance I was going to be number one. I didn't care. I just wanted to release music. You know what I mean? And it's like
Yeah.
I didn't know any better. Now, as a 45-year-old dude, I'm like concerned about every single word I say in the song. And it's like when you were a kid, when you were 20, you didn't care.
No.
You just made a thing. And it's like the truth is, you make a thing. And as said, our friend Rick Orozco, he used to tell me,
Yeah.
he used to say, I learned from having a flop that I wasn't writing for my audience. I was writing for whoever they wanted me to be. But when I
Hmm.
started writing for my audience, things worked. And it's like, yeah, you just need to go, okay, I'm just gonna try this thing and make it happen and see what happens. And it's like, so that's so cool. Like, that people actually bought the book and like, it didn't go the way exactly you wanted it, but you know, um, you made it
Yeah.
happen.
It's funny you mentioned that because it didn't go the way I wanted it, but it did.
Sure.
Um, One thing I found out when doing my research is writers don't make money, man. I thought that they made a little bit, but they
Nope.
don't.
Yeah.
Very few do. Very few. Um, the average writer will sell a book and sell 250 copies per lifetime. That's it.
Sure.
And I I I, this is no in no way, shape, or form a pat on the back, but I was selling a lot of books. So in that sense,
251.
252.
and
Yeah,
my wife
I
and my boss bought 5.
what? Oh
No,
man,
no,
hey, thank you.
your wife bought
Oh,
5. It
oh,
was a
that's
joke.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, man, bro. But you
Yeah.
know what though? It didn't go the way I planned out, but it did. And like I said, I'm still learning as a business owner, as a creator. Um, but yeah, I think but I can tell you that I always say if I help one person, then I did my job. There's a lot of people, believe it or not, that's dealing with depression, suicidal thoughts, uh,
Yeah.
suicide attempts, anxiety, loneliness, things like that. But
Yeah.
ask it, ask them to talk about it. And ain't nobody come to see you over this. I ain't trying to talk about that because it's very personal among other things. But
Yeah.
I sometimes it takes one person to say, "Hey, Jason, thank you for mentioning that because I know where you're at. You do. Let's talk about it." That's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's interesting. You put yourself in that place to do those things, and so I'm going to tell you a little more. We're going to go to the next question, which is, or the next statement slash question is,
Hmm.
hey, let's make a beat.
Okay.
And the beat is the foundation to the hip hop song or to any song, and so I'm gonna use my very, very elementary hip hop beat making skills for us to make a song. I am obviously I get trained professionals to do this for me on my albums, but in this situation, though my first album I did do all the beats.
You
Um,
did all the beats on the first album?
yeah. Oh, I might have done all but all but 2 because I think there were Concept 7 album songs that we never
Yeah.
released. Um,
You say
and so
Concept 7. That's why you had so many features, right?
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
there was
wondering about that.
that was all my crew. It was well, and then
Okay. Yeah.
we also when I was recording in Austin, my producer up there he had a bunch of friends, so it worked out. And then I spent the money on the Pigeon John one, so I was really focused on
Okay.
trying to make it happen. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't on purpose. I've worked with so many people throughout the days. I just thought, hey, let's just try to make something happen. And so, but yeah,
Mhm.
it's fun. But yeah, so obviously we want a boom bap beat. Am I correct right there?
Yes,
Um,
sir. You got the 808?
yep, got a little 808 situation happening.
Let's do
Um,
it.
let me get everything ready to go here. Give me a second. Here we go. And I gotta share the screen. Let's move this over here. Ba, ba, ba. I might not be looking at you, but I am ADD, so I definitely am listening. So
No, you
understand.
good, man. You
Um,
good, sir. Mr. Producer, sir.
I know. Let's see. Share your screen, and we're gonna go. And we're gonna share. Oh wait, we're gonna go back. Mhm. Stop screen share. Um, Still working on this part of the situation. Yep, already sharing it. Sweet. All right, and share. When it comes to a beat, like the drum beat is the foundation of the song, right? And so we're talking
Hmm.
about protecting the soul of hip hop, which is interesting because in your book you're actually looking at depression, anxiety, all those things, which dealing with those things is protecting your soul too, because it can be
Hmm.
something that can kind of destroy you from the inside. And I've been in those places. I'm not a super sad guy in general, but there were some work instances I was in my life where I did not feel positive about the person I was, and it was hard. It was hard crying every day and coming home and
Hmm.
not being able to give to the people in my life. It was hard. And so, one second,
Glad you made it through it, man.
yeah, uh, you know. Oh, here, this will
And
make
let
you laugh.
and
This
let me
is
just say, that's at least you still look the same, man. You have nays today, bro.
oh yeah, yeah, nice.
That's
What'd you
funny.
say?
I was gonna say real quick, uh, growing up in Castle Point, it was really rough. But it's not that way now. There's a gentleman. I told him I have permission to shout him out, but Mr. Anthony Watson Price and Mr. Daryl Hare, they do things that we didn't have growing up, like block parties. So the community can come together. They cook together. They have barbecues together. They have events together. They work with city council. They do remodeling on the houses that need to be fixed up. They're doing a lot of really good stuff there, man. So Council Point has come a long way, and I'm really proud of that. Let me just say that publicly. I'm proud of those guys for stepping up to the plate and caring about the community.
Did you think that, like, before you wrote the book, did you think you were ever going to shine a spotlight on Castle Point? Like, do you think that was a thing that you were going to do?
Oh yeah, definitely.
You always
Oh,
felt
and
like
my
you were
no.
No, before you wrote the book, you never knew that was a. I assume you wanted to do everything you could to forget that trauma.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I
But
see
now
what
it's
you're saying.
now it's changed that, which is crazy because
Mhm.
you've talked
Yep.
through the trauma a little, and so now you're like, no, I want to, like, right now you were just shouting out these guys that are trying to change this thing that that hurt, and that's you know, it's rough, but still pretty cool that you do that. But yeah, so you never planned on doing it. It wasn't until you read the book that you started.
Yep.
All right, here we go. All right,
That's correct.
Here's a.
Oh, nice.
Like something like that.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go. Hey man, I like this I like this platform, bro.
Oh, well, this is called SoundCloud.
No,
Soundtrap.
no, no. No, I
Oh, you
like
mean us?
yeah, I like yeah, I
Oh.
like it. We talked
yeah.
about it. We talked about it.
Yeah.
I like what you're doing. It's cool. I like it.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, man. Like I said,
Yes,
it's
sir.
different. I'm looking. So we have a nice bass.
Mhm.
I like that. I feel like I want to speed it up. One second here. All right, let's try this. What do you
That
think?
sounds pretty good. Yeah, I like it.
I just want drums. Nope. Nope. Uh-oh. No.
Oh, that's fast. That was real
You like
fast.
that? Oh yeah.
No, it's a little too fast for me.
That's like 280s. No. This is a little harder than.
Oh wow, that sounded good.
This one?
Yeah, that sounds good.
One second. Hey.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Oh yeah. Those sound good together.
You better not let Jarrell hear that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So now we have that bass line. We have that drums. What else? What else do you think? What else do we need? What do you think? Do we need some? Do we need just random one shots? Do we need some random sounds? What do you think? Any thoughts? A synth?
I was thinking about some hi-hats. What do you think? I do like that beat, man. That sounds good.
Yeah, what's that? This is just me running loops. I'm not like doing anything crazy. Ooh, how's that?
Great.
I
That
like
sounds
that.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Let's see. And then I think we're gonna go this, and we're gonna go. No, not like that.
Yeah, that sounds different.
Yeah. We can always mute it out in a second. You know, guitar or piano? Piano? Ooh,
Yeah, I
okay.
would say piano. Definitely piano.
What do you think about that one?
Oh, that sounds nice. Yeah, that sounded
Yeah,
good.
that one was crazy.
Yeah, it was a little bit.
Yeah, I like that.
That sounds nice, man.
Hey, got it all together, but I never see it when I fell the bro. You want me to rap it like forever? I can hear it, y'all. I know what you're doing. You get me when you ever call. Now I gotta be it like forever while here, bro. All right, cool.
That sounds
All right,
nice.
all right. So there's our foundation,
Yes, sir.
and
You
we'll
did.
do that in a second. Now you did talk about Castle Point. Was that like the serious like things that happen? Like, do you have an example of something that is there like something you have to highlight that's very personal that really just deals with the book and how you got into that?
I can tell you something. I can tell you something. So when I wrote the book, the project was done, and uh, no, actually, it wasn't done. I was in the process of writing the book. So when you write a book, you have what's called beta readers. So you'd say, hey, so and so, hey Jason, I'm gonna send you this copy, read it, and tell me what you think. And so one of my guys that read a chapter that I gave him, he came back with his critique, and it was all of that's what was surprising is all of the critiques are really good, and they said, a lot of them said, your 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 character thread, the narrative is very vague. If you expound on that a little bit, tell us how you got to know the characters. Tell us, and I didn't tell them, but I didn't want to do that because there are certain things that I can write to protect people, to protect myself. Um, a lot of these narratives, I some of them contain real stories about my mama, my deceased mama, my stepfather, people that were really close to me at one time. So in chapter 8, I think it's chapter 8, there's a story about my best friend, and I was in a really dark place, man, very dark. Well, he noticed, right? He noticed, and then he took me to get my first suit because I wasn't taking care of myself. Well,
Sure.
me and him were really tight. So in the story, the narrative states that he took me to get the suit, and then we went to dinner, had a good time, and then left, and I never saw him again. Well, that's actually false. The only reason I wrote it that way was because I couldn't tell you what really happened. I couldn't tell you what really happened. So what really happened was he came to pick me up one day, and usually he'll pick me up and he'll be driving his mother's Cutlass. He'll be having the music blasted, and we go and run errands, and he'll take me back to my house. And we used to have drive down the same street where all the drug dealers I told you about. We would drive past them, and
Mhm.
well, he picked me up one day, and this usually he'll be upbeat, he'll be talking about girls and just different things and hip hop. Boy, he was really quiet, but that's neither here nor there. What I noticed was that we kept driving and driving and driving and driving. So finally, I asked him. I said, "Hey, man, where are you taking me? You usually you don't, you tell me where you're going. Where are we going?" And he kind of got off the subject, and he's like, "Well, start talking about something else." He got me off the subject, and we're driving. And I asked him again the second time, and this time he paid attention. He said, "Well, I can't tell you where we're going," and I thought he was playing. So
Sure.
I said, "Man," and I'm joking with him. I said, "Man, you play too much. That's why." See, you play too much. Why you always joking around? You playing? And I looked over while he's driving. He was looking at me, and he has his mouth turned up. He said, "Do I look at my face? Do I look like I'm playing right now?" So that's when I knew he's serious. So I said, "Well, where are we going?" He said, I can't tell you that." And I said, "Well, why can't you tell me?" He said, "Because if I tell you, um, he said, if I tell you, then I'll be in trouble." That's not what he said. I'm not going to say what he said.
Sure.
He said,
I
"I'll be in
understand.
trouble." And I said, "Man, why are you playing?" And he said, "And then you'll be in trouble too." And I knew he was really serious. So he drove down this long street, drove up to this mailbox, took a package from under the seat, put it in the mailbox, and
Ah,
drove off.
sure.
And that was actually the last time I saw him. And he's a good friend of mine. He's a really good friend of mine. That when I left, I didn't think about it until decades later, and I thought that could have ended up like a movie bad.
Hmm.
And I would have told him, "Hey, drop me off," but he wouldn't have dropped me off. He'd have kept going. Because he had errands to run. So things like that, man. It's things like that, and I kind of just alluded to it earlier when I said there's certain things that I couldn't write in the text of this book because of I was trying to protect people and protect myself as well. These guys, so a lot of them are still around. I just, we just don't communicate. So I still got love for the dude, man. He's still my friend. I just haven't. I looked for him. I searched for him. Because he's really my best friend. He did a lot for me, man, when I was like I told you, a real dark place. But uh, that relationship just kind of broke off. So that was something that stood out.
Yeah. It's interesting too. As you get older, you realize that, sometimes you're like, oh, well, I failed that friendship or I failed that thing. Well,
Hmm.
sometimes they're there for that moment. They were there for that moment and you move on. And it's
Yep.
like, you need to still cherish those memories, like the good memories, right? And appreciate that moment of their life is when they need it. I mention this all the time when people find out about my life and my wedding and all that stuff with Kevin passing.
Hmm.
Um, the day of my wedding, they go, or the day before my wedding, they're like, "How could you deal with your best friend passing the day before your wedding?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Well, because it was the perfect time. Like, I never want to lose somebody that was that cherished to me, but God knew the best time for me that it was going to happen." And
Yep.
that was the only time I could handle it. I got to go on a cruise. I had all these people around me. I was crying every day, but I was still
Hmm.
feeling loved and taken care of because this was the perfect time. It stinks that it happened. Um, it's rough. Like I still to this day still think about 10 years later. Or I don't even know how many years now. It's been a long
Yeah.
time.
That's what I was thinking. It's
Um,
been a minute. Yeah.
and so it's so crazy when you think about those things, but it's like, oh well, but those moments made you, and so you appreciate them as they happen. Um, and so it's interesting how that goes. But yeah, that's hard to realize those things as you're looking back at, it, especially writing this book. Was that like what was the heart behind? Like, was the heart just to help people that were dealing with this thing? Was that the real foundation of this book? Like, was it just the idea that you just wanted to be able to help one person?
That's a really good question, man. Thanks for asking that question. That honestly, the at first, my heart behind I didn't know I was going to make it a series. Honestly, I didn't know that. That never crossed my mind. What happened was I wanted to be obedient. I was trying to. If I tell Isaiah to do something and he says, "All right, I'll do it in a minute," then that's a delayed obedience. No, I need
Yeah.
you to do what I'm telling you. So just imagine how you know, our
Yeah.
Heavenly Father feels. Now it's like, man, but it doesn't make sense. I don't know what you're talking about. Respectfully, that makes no sense to me. So as I
Yeah.
started to write, a lot of things happened. The undealt with trauma, um, thinking about my mama, thinking about myself out, thinking about my sisters, and all these things. But then the book came out, and I'll tell you what happened. I started marketing. I was marketing on Facebook, and I have a lot of followers and stuff, and people will actually wait to read the books. And I didn't understand reviews from my perspective. I've seen reviews, but when they write books about and when they write reviews about my book, that hits differently.
Sure.
And one person, uh, the reviews were really good. Hey, I loved every minute of the book. Hey, I'm looking for the next one, and it was like 4.8 out of 5 stars, which is great.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, I don't know what I'm doing. I literally don't know what I'm doing. So as I started to write the second book, because it was it's like 65 pages, and that was for a purpose because I honestly I didn't know what I was doing. I'll be honest. Then as the second book started to write, the like they said, like they complained about, the narrative thread got richer, it got deeper. You tend to find out these people I'm talking about, where do they come from? How do they know you? How do you relate to them? How they relate to you? Like it's very, very deep. So at first it was, hey, I need to be obedient to what the Holy Spirit is asking me to do. I just need to, even though it doesn't make sense. I still need to do it. So after I did it, I was still doing research and finding out, uh, man, the stats are crazy as far as you know mental health.
Sure.
Not to mention my career. That's what I do. That is literally what I do without going into detail. So I figured, if I'm really going to put these books out, it's not about me, and it never was about me. It's about the stories that people can relate to, and that's what happened. I had a couple of people reach out and say, "Hey, thank you for this book." And the coolest one happened to be from a young lady. Her name is Kat. Uh, I didn't know she was a nurse, and she said, "Hey, I want that book. Where do I get it?" I told her. She got the book. She reached out to me maybe 2 weeks later and said, "Hey, I read it and it's really good." I said, "Thanks." That was it. She reached out again and said, "Hey, I need you to know this. I can't tell you where she works, but I work somewhere,
Sure.
and on break," she
Retracted.
said, she said, "On break, we take turns reading your book out loud, and
Oh,
6 of those employees are from Castle Point." I'm like, "What?"
that's
So
crazy.
talk about, man, listen, talk about using your gifts to help people.
Yeah.
Again, it's not about me, but that was huge.
No, a big
So
deal.
that's where it came from. It's not about selling books because again, writers don't make money, and I'm not making any money off this book. I'm selling a lot of copies, but I got bills. They take a
Sure. I
percentage, so
understand.
I'm not making money. But the idea is to help people. If I can help one person, then I've done my job.
Yeah. That's amazing. I think it's so cool to like see you doing this and like see the smile on your face from like it's such a heavy topic, but it's like realizing that
It
you're
is.
impacting people's lives with it is an amazing thing. And like, yeah, to realize that people in the same neighborhood that you grew up in that caused you this trauma is like being affected by something. That's insane. Yeah. Oh, and also reviews in general are crazy. Like I remember the first time reading reviews on my music, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. Like, I'm like, it's so
No,
weird.
trust me, that album is really good, man. I still listen to it to this day,
Oh man, thanks.
if I'm being honest.
I appreciate that. But it's so funny how that works. I think I hurt
Yeah,
more when I helped produce an album and then watching people destroy the album that I produced or like that I helped put together. And somebody that I thought was better than me, watching them get like destroyed in their reviews. And I'm like, I don't understand. This person's a better musician than I am. How are you don't like
yeah, I
them?
get you.
And so that
Yeah.
was so interesting. But anyways, so now we're at the end. What's the hook? What's the hook of our song about the soul of hip hop? Do we need to listen to the beat again, or you feel good about just come like help me riff a hook for this? What do you think?
Uh, Let me think. Protect the culture.
Protect the culture. So yeah,
What do you
protects the
think? Protect the
culture.
culture.
You know, it's interesting because you were talking about the guys doing block parties. You know, that's how hip hop started was block parties.
Oh,
Like the
come on,
idea
man.
of this full culture,
Yeah,
like people don't understand. Like people are like, oh, I like rap or I like Jack Harlow or like whatever. And it's like, no, but what at this time, this was in a place where people were super poor, had
yeah.
nothing, and everything was being taken from them, and they found a way to support one another, do things. Like it's funny, my son fell in love with the blackout of 1977
Mm,
because it was something that happened in New York. But what I didn't know is that that actually helped birth hip hop. In that in
wow.
1977 during the blackout, like later in the later like probably like 10 hours in, everybody started stealing from electronics companies,
Mm,
getting speakers and DJ equipment. And so then from after that, then they had more banging house parties because
that's
they have
huge. That's
these
huge.
yeah, and it's like it's crazy how that goes, but that actually caused the movement to happen. And it's like it's interesting because even though the first lady of hip hop, which is the lady that started the first, well, what they call the first block party, she always said
Mhm.
the idea was to allow the gangs, everybody else, to get along for the moment. And after the party, they can do whatever they want. But during the party, there wasn't fighting. There wasn't this. It was just a fun time to enjoy each other's company and to make it positive. And that's such a cool thing. So, anyways, so protect the culture. Are we going to rhyme it or are we just going to say protect the
Real quick.
culture? Yes.
Probably say it in a nice, catchy way. But real quick, it's funny you mentioned that. Um, Hip hop culture is. I'm from St. Louis. I'm not from NY, obviously,
Sure.
but
But you
uh,
still got your
hip hop
thing.
is like I'm a student, man. So the funny thing is, back in that era, I actually I dedicated a whole chapter to hip hop in the book because of something that happened. You know what happened?
What was that?
Uh, Hip hop started spreading like literally spreading like the plague, man. Everybody, us kids knew about it, but we didn't know how to do it.
Sure.
So there's a teacher that I think it was science class. The kids came in all excited, and I was in the class with him, and he said, "Hey, you know how to rap?" "No, I don't know how to rap." "You know how to rap?" "No, I don't know how to rap." So the teacher, he just had this disgusted look on his face, and he said, "Can I say something?" And he said, "Yeah, what you want to say?" And he looked at us. He said, "That's not music, kids. You kids,
Uh,
you respect what you don't know about. That's not music." And we're like, "Man, you just old fashioned." He said, "No, I'm serious. You know what I hear when I hear that stuff? It sounds like animals eating at the trough. That's what I hear. I don't like that." And he said hip hop will not last. He said it's a fad. It's gonna fade out like everything else. He said I give it 6 months. He said I give it 6 months, and that's the title of the chapter. I give it 6 months. So it's funny that you
wow.
mentioned that. That made me think about that. But it's amazing how much the culture shifts. And then there was a shift in 1990. We don't want to go into that, but yeah, I get what you're saying. But yeah, I think for the hook, just saying it. What you think?
Yeah, no, I think
You
it's
think saying it?
it'll kind of happen as it goes. So, what was it? Protect the
Okay.
culture. So,
Protect the
should we
culture. Yes,
use
sir.
protect the culture? Is there a better way to say that, which sounds catchier than protect the culture? I'm a vulture. No.
No, no.
I'm thinking. I'm just being silly
Let
with the
me think.
vulture part. Um, protect the culture. Protect the culture. Watch the culture.
Hmm.
Defend the
Let me
culture.
think.
No. Protect the culture.
No,
Mm, all right. Okay. Well, so yeah, protect the culture. Man, I don't know how that works in a course. All right. So now we
that's
are gonna have to turn on the music
the
so
hard
we can
way.
figure this out. Oh no, it's your idea. So it's fine. Let's see. We're gonna share this. We're gonna press the
Okay.
song. We're gonna go share.
You might want to keep that beat, bro.
Yeah. Hey, you wanna protect that culture? You see what I am saying? But check that culture, cause the hip hop is the way in. I know what you're saying, but you're saying that you're saying. What am I doing? I'm giving, cause I. Hey, don't be afraid. Stand up for what you believe. Don't be afraid. Stand what for you believe. Don't be afraid. Stand what you believe.
That's cool.
Protect the hip hop culture because we know what we see. Said, don't be afraid. Stand what you believe. Protect that hip hop culture. Come on, do what we be. Hey, stand up for what you believe. We protect that hip hop culture and we know we be.
Yeah,
Something like
that's
that?
good.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's good.
All
You made
right.
that on the fly. It's pretty good, man.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm a professional.
That's what you do.
Um, so this is the end of the show. Before we do the song, what is it that you want people to remember about your book, about you, about the series that you're working on? How, what do you want them to remember? But at the same time, how do they find your stuff? How do they get in touch with you? How do they engage with your community that you're building right now?
Well, the thing to remember about the book is that mental health is at epidemic proportions. We Americans don't know how to take breaks. We don't know how to rest. A lot of times we live to work, and a lot of stress comes. There's a lot of different facets of mental health, but the thing to remember is check on people. Check on people. Call them. Um, show empathy. A lot of times we can be selfish. We can be selfish with our time. We can be selfish with not really wanting to engage with people when they have problems. But you know, what if it was you? Think about if it was you or a family member. Just call people, man. Check on them, and that's what I want to get across. The second thing is you can find me on my website. I am rodneycaldwell.com. You can see my bio if you want to read up more about me and my projects, um, my book. And you can find me at CBC, man. CBC Southside. We are opening the Southside. My wife and myself and my wife, we co-lead the marriage ministry on the Southside. CBC Southside is
If you're in San
the,
Antonio,
the,
by the way,
yeah,
if you
San
didn't know where
Antonio.
we were.
Correct, correct. And the inaugural service is on Easter, so you can find me there. If you don't see me
Awesome.
in CBC, you can see me here at the house, man, doing laundry, doing y'all work, taking care of the kids, being daddy.
Nice.
That's about it.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that, man. Thanks again
Yes,
for being
sir.
on the show and talking about your book.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. It was
Um,
good to reconnect again.
yeah, it's so cool to like see you doing your thing. As I said, I've always been a fan of Rodney Caldwell and always will be. Your boys
Let me
brought
say
joy in
this.
my life. Yes,
Thank you for talking me down when we did that performance, man.
that
I
was
had a lot of
awesome.
anxiety. No, it turned out good. It turned out really, really, really good. But man, you talked me down, told me to calm down, take some deep breaths. So you're always really professional, and I appreciate that.
Well, as I said, that's one of the most memorable of the Riverwalk performances I've done.
Mhm.
And so that was fun. And again, that was not what we set up for. So that's even funnier because we didn't expect it to be the way it did, but it ended up being awesome
Yeah.
and everybody loved it. And so, but yeah, no, as I said, um, I appreciate you. I'm excited for your next book. Do you have a date yet or is it still working on it?
So it's actually in the thanks for asking. It's actually in the editing stages right now. Cover design stages. I'm hoping that this is the week that they will get me the cover design. They'll give me uh, the full manuscript to just for the final approval. Once that happens, I send it back to them, and then it's live, and then we got a launch date. So I'm hoping this week.
So,
I'm hoping
so
by
you hope
Friday.
sometime in the next 6 months, the book,
Oh no, this
or
this this week for
oh
book two in the series.
oh wow. So
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
like talking
Oh
about
yeah, it's
like
done.
so you're just hoping you want to release it sometime this week.
Yeah, yeah, it's already
Nice,
done. Yeah, it's already done.
awesome,
Actually,
man.
all the books are pre-written except for the last in the series, which will be four. I might extend it to five. Two is done. It's in the editing stages. I hope that it will be released this week. It's already in the hands of the editors,
Yeah.
and then it'll be book three, and then four, and then I'm just kind of pacing it out.
Now,
But everything's already done.
is this a like a biography book, or is it like a fictional book, a nonfiction book, or
Yeah,
is it
it's
a combination
nonfiction.
of
It's
those things?
it's it's definitely it's everybody is definitely
Real.
which is why I have to be very very careful.
Yeah.
It's definitely real. Um, I'm sorry, I lost track. What was the question?
Oh no no.
Is it?
I'm sorry. Do you feel? Here's a better question. So this is like your real life. Could
Yeah.
you see yourself writing like a fiction novel, kind of like like an actual like somebody a different story with different characters? Do you find that is that even of interest to you? Like, or is it like really this topic and focus is really where you want to stay? Or could you imagine yourself doing like a young teen novel situation like the Hunger Games or something? you know, could you see yourself doing
I
something like
see
that?
where you're going. I see where you're
Yeah.
going. Probably not, just because again, I talk myself into greatness all the time because I'm an amateur. I'm also I call myself an honest amateur. I'm just an amateur. I still don't feel like I know what I'm doing. But uh, I know for the series that I'm writing right now, everything is already done. I just have to do the work, and
Yeah.
it takes a lot of work. After that's done,
You
I do
see.
plan on doing some other things, but again, I'm just kind of pacing myself. But
Oh.
nothing as far as novels. I'm not really interested in that.
Yeah, not a thing. Okay. Whatever. You're gonna come out with a
No.
Christmas
Right
Odyssey.
now.
I'm just playing. Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's why I asked. I was like, I know some people that do
Yeah, yeah,
that, and then
yeah.
they start writing. And they're like, man, I should do more stuff, and they end up making all kinds of different
Hmm.
kinds of content. But it
It
sounds
makes
like you're
sense.
really
It
focused
makes
on what
sense
you're talking about right now. But thank you. And
for
you
now.
said your website. Yep. So look out for if you end up doing a novel. Well, that'd be funny. A hip
Mhm.
hop odyssey. Why not? Um,
That would
um,
be funny.
it would be cool. Featuring a
It
really
would be.
handsome white guy. Yeah, I can see how that could be a good book.
I can see that. Hey, it's not like we haven't worked together before, man. Not like we haven't
Uh,
worked together before.
anyways, I'm being silly. But yeah,
One with stage
uh,
fright, one without stage fright. Just
uh,
don't forget to add that in for the
obviously,
measure.
obviously, you're the one. You're the one that doesn't have stage fright. It's me that's afraid of people.
Nah, negative, sir.
Uh, what's
Big
funny is
time.
I definitely am afraid, but I've done it so much. I'm like, I just got to do it. It's the thing. The thing is as you're saying, as you realized, when you start walking in your purpose, when you start doing the thing that you were meant to do, it just happens. Like you just do
Hmm.
it. Like it's like when I'm rapping in front of people, like there's no insecurity. I might have insecurity trying to write the songs or trying to come up with an idea, but when it comes to standing in front of people acting like a fool, man,
Hmm.
that's my happy place. That's the place where I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be doing this junk until I'm 80, be in the old folks' home. Somebody's gonna be beatboxing, and I'm gonna be rapping in my wheelchair. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's funny. Yeah, I do.
it's it's what I'm gonna be doing. Like it's the thing that makes me happy. And you know that you've seen me do it so many
Yep,
times. It's
yep.
just it always, that's why I started this podcast because I realized I was getting away from being a music because I was trying to be focused on being a good dad and all those
Hmm.
things. And it was like, but I still want. There's always gonna be that part of me that wants to do music. that wants to help people, that wants to do something different. And
That's
yeah,
amazing, man.
yeah.
And you're
So
actually really good at it. You're really good at
thanks.
all the above. So don't
I
stop doing what
appreciate
you're
that.
doing. Just keep it up.
I appreciate that information. Now it is the time for the song. Or here we go. It is time for rap. And I'm gonna make up the song that we just did with a variation of the chorus that we talked about. I can't promise you I'm gonna remember it through the whole song, but
Hmm.
the other thing that I realized that I'm gonna do is that I'm probably going to edit this and make it sound way cooler than it already does, and then share it next week at the intro of the next episode.
Oh,
So you
nice.
can actually hear the edited
Yeah.
version of the song. Not like a full edit. It's not like I'm going to go in the studio and write full verses or something. But I just change my voices. Maybe if there was an
Yeah.
unclear vocal, change it. I don't know. I did this with the last one, and I really enjoyed that process. And so, and
Mm.
again, this is a new. I'm just trying some new stuff that I've never done before.
Well,
Let
like
me
I said,
turn.
the platform works, man. I really like the platform. So don't stop doing what you're doing.
Don't stop doing. Don't stop believing. Don't stop
Oh, you went
believing.
back to the Journey days,
I know.
Steve Perry days. What you know about that?
I'm sorry. All right, here we go. We got that. Now we're gonna share the thing. We're gonna take off these things. Man, I miss having a second producer. Everything goes so much smoother when you have somebody else to help you. But hey, we got
He's
what we
good at what
got.
he does.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Boom. All right, here we go. And share the screen and press the button. You know, so many days of our life we stood here and we allow hip hop culture to get slowly disintegrated or put together in a bad place. You know, it started by being positive, by uplifting one another, and by just trying to do something better. And I think that we need to protect that part of hip hop culture. And that's what this song is gonna be. Yo, you gotta stand for what you believe. Do what you was doing and you gotta receive. Yo, protect that culture. Here we go, protect that culture. You gotta stand up for what you believe in. We break what we do, then we gotta receive. You gotta protect that culture. Protect that culture. It's like being a young kid stopping for the nighttime, being afraid, not sure what's gonna happen, man. Or even teachers saying, you saying it's not music. What am I supposed to do? It's what's making me moving. I ain't afraid of this, like the time be. But now I go, cause I know that I'll find me in the place that I was gone in the way, yeah. I was just a white dude in the trailer parks, hey. But I heard the beat, it made me wanna go. It made me feel like I made sense of something, bro. I wasn't afraid, I wasn't in that part, bro. But I was doing what I'm doing from the start, yo. We can do it, cause it never see. See, even as an older gentleman, I know what I believe, hey. I want people to love one another, and I know that we are destroyed in this crazy culture, but we have a chance, we have a beat, we have a rhythm, so we gotta let it be. So many times we gotta let them see. This is what I say when I gotta make it damn beat. Yo, stand up for what you believe. Hey, you know who you are and what you receive. You gotta protect that culture. You gotta protect that culture. You gotta stand up for what you believe in. Every day you receive what you receive. You gotta protect that culture. You gotta protect. Even gagging or coughing, I gotta break it. I'm rapping, I'm reacting. My factors and my factors, I'm breaking the shacking. And we got Rodney Caldwell talking about his book B. Depression is not serious, it is very serious. G. We need a chance to understand what we is doing all. We gotta break it, we don't ever fall, but we can get it, yo. Please talk to somebody, get it out there. Deal with that trauma, don't break it back and right there. But see, this life works the same way. In hip hop, we just to talk about it like every day. It's like Nas telling the story of the people, live he had to be.
That's how we heard about it. That's how we could ever see. I know that this mystery is a metaphysical one. If we make it, cause we gotta be spiritual, son. I only get it what I'm doing by myself. If I say it flows to you, I can get it when I'm well. Hey, I'm tripping in, but now I'm sitting there. I made the question in the question, but the question ain't a fear. If I ever see it clear, man, I'm standing right here like we were on the stage and we were full of fear, but we made it happen, rapping and then we clapping and all the people attracting saying, ooh, that's what happened, and it's trilling. Only if I get it gone right, and this is what the song do. On this right, hey, stand up for what you believe, and you gonna receive what you receive. Just protect that culture. Just protect that culture. Stand up for what you believe, and you will receive what you will receive. Just protect that culture. Just protect that culture. There you go.
Bro, that was pretty. That was pretty good. I like that. I like it. Seriously, really keep that beat, man. I might have to.
Yeah.
I might have. I don't even. I'm not an artist, but I'm gonna steal it from you.
Yeah. Well, I said.
That was good.
Thank you. It's interesting. Most of the time I do a silly song, but yeah, we had
Yeah.
a serious talk, so it can't be super serious, super silly on this one. I think, but it's so cool to be able to talk to you about your book, talk about all those things, and it's like just to catch up with you is always cool. But yeah, everybody go to his website, check it out, please. You know, we've prepped you. You have a few days to get that money and get ready to purchase the book, because then he could be number one for real this time. Hey, by the way, don't retract it this time. Just let it flow in the world. And the best way to do this is just don't let your wife read it. Then she won't fix it.
Oh man, I got no words.
I'm just playing. Yeah, I'm the same way. You already know. You know my wife, so I'm the same way. You
Bro,
put a talented person
trust
with a
me.
very smart person. It's a great combination.
Yes, sir.
But she knows better than me. Like I'll be like, "Oh, I'm gonna write this new bio for my podcast," and she's like, "Yeah, those aren't even words, bro. Like you're not even using real words." I'm like, "Oh, I see the issue here. We can fix
They
that
keep
up
us
for me, that'd
grounded,
be
man. They keep us grounded. That's what
They're
that's all
amazing.
about.
Oh, by the way, how's the baby girl doing? How's the baby girl?
Baby girl is good, man. She's got some surgeries coming up. Driving my wife crazy, but we got a couple of surgeries coming up and
Yeah.
some other stuff.
Hmm.
But other than that, she's thriving, man. She's very smart, very, very smart,
Yeah.
very smart.
I'll still message you
Isaiah's doing
later,
really
but
good as well.
that's
Malik is
awesome.
doing really, really good as well.
Oh yeah, I saw
Yeah,
when he did that
yeah. Thanks for
interview
asking.
with
She's
you.
good.
That I saw that interview he did with you.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah,
pretty cool to see. It's so crazy because I remember him as a young
yeah,
man, and now he's like a full grown adult person, um, which is crazy to
yeah,
think
yeah,
about that.
yeah. I thought that was pretty profound to have him interview me, and he did a good
Yeah,
job. He's actually, that was a little unexpected. He did really, really good.
that's
He's not
amazing.
shy
Well,
like that.
yeah, well, you're pretty okay. You figured it out. But anything else that you'd like to share with the people, or you felt like you did all your good sharing? So thank you again for being here, Miss Rodney Caldwell. Hey, if you're listening to this podcast, you're like, this is pretty cool. If you want to come watch us live, it's probably gonna change. I think next week we might be doing it on Tuesday, at 8 p.m. CST, I think. But again, I'll let you know on the Flows For You website, flowsforyou.com, the number 4, letter U.com. I'll let you know what's happening with the show. I said I'm going to try out a co-host and see how that goes. A new, one of my good friends who's done stuff with me before, so I'm excited to try that out to see if actually bringing on a live producer musically, if that will even make it better. So we'll see how that goes. But okay.
Nice.
Do you want to say hi, Boston? Hi.
What's up, man? How are you?
How are you doing, Boston?
He's big, man. He's
Big
a big
6-year-old.
kid.
Yeah. But anyways,
Nice.
make sure guys you can check out the podcast. We'll put on the audio podcast. I'll actually probably put the edited version of the song on there. So please come check that out. That's anywhere the podcasts are. It's Flows For You
anywhere podcasts are. So please check it out. And if you're looking for a new website, go to nomadweb.design. They did our website, and please go check that stuff out. And that is all. And now we say bye. Rodney, I'm going to play an outro. You stay on there after the outro so I can just say bye to you in person.
Yes, sir.
Or in not on live TV. And
It's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. If I could just find the outro button. Here it is.
Are you looking for a different kind of podcast? How about informative and clean? It will make you laugh. Scout and Trey, yeah, that's what we do. We got a little funny thing, keeping it true. Hey, we take your topics and all your ideas and bring in a guest and we answer them there. Then we make a freestyle rap and do it for you. Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, that's what we do. Yep, flows to you, flows to you. This is what we do now. This is what we do. Say it flows to you, flows to you. This is what we do now. This is what we do. Say it flows to you,